Asma Al Assad's current health crisis is something I think one should consider. Apparently, she's battling leukemia with a 50% survival prognosis, and her isolation, her care under her father, reports of dissatisfaction in Moscow. I'm not surprised. But does Asma al Assad, born in the UK, have a right to return in her critical condition? She was raised and brought up in London with dual British Syrian citizenship. She has an academic and professional background in King's College. She's a London graduate, a former investment banker. But her marriage to Bashar al Assad and her role in Syria as First Lady overwhelm the debate. In addition, the trial of Shamima Begum and the refusal to allow Begum back into Britain makes it quite clear that British citizenship now can be revoked for individuals who are considered a security risk. Asma was sanctioned for supporting Bashar al Assad's regime. She's been labelled as complicit in human rights violations, and the Foreign Secretary David Lammy has said that she is unwelcome in the UK because of the sanctioned status. But should terminal illness override political considerations? She needs isolation, she needs advanced medical care, and her birthplace could well provide that. Allegations of complicity, however, in atrocities during the Civil War and concerns about setting a precedent for sanctioned individuals seeking refuge weigh heavily against the natural spirit in Britain for offering care to the vulnerable. Begum was stripped of UK citizenship for joining ISIS despite being a teenager at the time. The public backlash and the legal battles highlight the complexities of dual citizenship and state responsibility, and Asma's position as a high-profile figure directly linked to a deposed regime, directly linked to atrocities that are being revealed and uncovered even today, is significant. She was not a teenager when she married Bashar al-Assad. And Moscow, following Moscow, has given her refuge. Moscow should be looking after her. Following the collapse of Assad's regime, following the escape, and these reports of divorce attempts and dissatisfaction with restrictions in Russia. I've been to Rubliovka, which is where I presume they are based. It's not a place you get out of. It's very impressive. It's very rich. But the path into that village is guarded by vigorous numbers of guards, vigorous number of soldiers and barriers. And in the same way as people there are protected, they are also imprisoned. And speculation about potential asylum or medical care in other nations, including the UK, is speculation alone, and she would first have to leave Russia. I don't think that's going to be on the cards either. Critics argue that her complicity disqualifies her from sympathy, and anyway, Russia has a very good record of treating cancer patients. And advocates who highlight her British roots and her critical health condition should have done so weeks, months ago, when she was still in Syria. Then maybe there would have been room for manoeuvre, maybe there would have been room for clemency, maybe there would have been room for pause. But the role of media and the role of the media and the role of international law in shaping this public debate is significant. And the question of Asma al-Assad's entitlement to return intertwines with legal, ethical, political threads, but also these threads of setting a precedent. And the UK's likely response is that it will uphold sanctions against her to deter further asylum bids by sanctioned individuals, and citizenship is rapidly coming to be defined as a privilege rather than a right, particularly for higher profile figures linked to controversy. And that is the background and the effect of the Shamima Begum case, and now we see it in action. And I think there's room to be concerned, but Bashar al-Assad's wife, it's difficult to think that her hands were not dirty, isn't it, really?